Soon a taxi, exhaust gases coming through the floor, is taking us to a suburb. We stop at a building protected by fences. I should know where we are, but changes in schedule make this an unknown appointment. We are met by a middle-aged woman. The black she wears is of mourning, not custom. She lives in a caravan beside the building and earns money as a guide for visitors. Nazar points to a plaque that explains this place was built by a company from Finland. We enter through steel doors, massive enough to secure a bank vault. The woman carries a torch, and we need it, for the building, whatever it is barely illuminated, and empty it seems, but for rubble. Pillars send shadows into a greater darkness, but on the walls nearest us I begin to decipher bouquets of plastic flowers, soccer shirts. The guide leads us further in, and we stand around a pool of daylight. Above our heads is a jagged hole in the 4 feet thick concrete roof. Through the reinforcing steel we see palm fronds, and behind it Baghdad's toxic sky. In one corner of the ceiling are curious shapes. Are they bats? I ask Nazar. Instead of answering, he tells me to look at the photographs. Then he explains to me where we are. But I have already been here, by courtesy of television. This is the Amariya bunker that was targeted by cruise missiles and smart bombs during the First Gulf War. The BBC had broadcast a news conference in which US High Command had shown the finished blueprint of Amariya, the air shafts and other entry points. Military technology was so well developed that a smart bomb had been launched which had entered the building's ventilation system and so, we were informed, destroyed the target. The raid was a success. I remember feeling a mixture of pride and wonder, jewels in the gut, as the bombing technique was explained. I don't recall asking them what the significance was of Amariya. Now as light pours through the smart bomb's entrance, I start to find out. There are photographs here, some of old people, most of teenagers. Amariya was a bunker where civilians sheltered during the 42 days of bombing Baghdad experienced in the First War. There are 400 photographs on the walls, all of them of people incinerated when the bomb ignited oxygen canisters stored in the shelter. Our guide lost 8 members of her family here. Since then she has dedicated her life to explaining the secret of Amariya. Other photographs show what was discovered when the fires went out. The heat had welded the doors to the door frames. There was no escape. So the children's bodies were fused together as blue clinker. Nazar moves round the walls, the Sony on his shoulder, the only light the smart bomb's skylight. Our guide's torch and a few electric bulbs make up the rest. Up here, he says, pointing to the ceiling. 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 Not bats. Look, I strain at shapes or misshapes in the gloom. Hands. People were tearing at the concrete with their hands. Hands trying to get out. Hands trying to get out. They died on each other's shoulders. When the bodies were pulled clear, the hands stuck to the ceiling. Hands. Black hands. Black hands. Black hands. Black hands of the children of the mother of all wars, trying to get out. Hands. Black hands. Black hands. Black hands. Black hands of the children trying to get out. They died on each other's shoulders. Black hands of the children of the mother of all wars.